Hello everyone, welcome. Just the other day, I uploaded this video. Just a typical video of me sharing 10 of my favorite Amazon beauty finds under $25, and the comment section was filled with viewers asking specifically about my makeup and hair in that video, but mostly my makeup, asking what I was doing different, what tanner I was using, what was the lip combo, what did I have in my eyes, could I do a full tutorial? I've been on YouTube for 10 years, and I don't think I have ever received so many requests for a makeup look before. So because of the high demand for a makeup tutorial for that look, I am filming this on a Saturday. I have pushed my Monday video to Thursday so that I can upload this on a Monday so you don't have to wait. So if any more comments come in on that video asking for a tutorial for that look, I can then just refer those people to this video. Now, one thing I do know about that makeup look is how I achieved that tan that I think is what everybody is talking about in that makeup look. Well, you may find the answer amusing. Too Faced recently reformulated their Born This Way foundation. I always really liked this foundation. I honestly couldn't remember exactly why it wasn't in my main foundation rotation, but I think part of the reason was because I did order a shade that was a bit too dark for me. This is the shade Natural Beige. And I started thinking about how I used to wear this when I was really tan. And I don't tan in the sun. I always use an at-home tanner. And I do like to have those darker foundations in my makeup collection for when I'm going on vacation, anytime I do either self-tan and or apply a darker body makeup, because I do want to look sort of golden goddessy. So Too Faced recently reformulated the Born This Way foundation, and it sounded really good. The claims are that it has an undetectable, natural matte finish, ultra long wearing, pore blurring, like a filter in a bottle. Of course, I thought, I've got to try it. And I had watched another content creator's video comparing the old formula to the new formula, and she had ordered the same shade in the new formula that she had ordered in the old formula, and they were identical. So I thought, okay, I'll do the same thing. However, here they are side by side. As you can see, Natural Beige in the new formula is, I think, darker than the old formula. The day I filmed that video was the first time I had used the new formula foundation. And as soon as I applied it, I thought, oh my goodness, this is way too dark for me, way too dark. But I really wanted to try the formula, and then if I liked it, I could perhaps buy a lighter shade in my actual skin tone, and then just keep the darker one and perhaps mix the two together. That was my thought process. But because I had planned to film that day and I didn't want to start over, I just went with it and I applied it all over my face. And then I ended up taking it down my neck and onto my chest. And then I just sprayed it down with that L'Oreal 3-second setting mist. And then I think I took my Fenty body sauce and applied that to my arm because I was wearing a one-sleeve bodysuit. So I wanted to look uniform. So that's why I look so tan in that video, because I used a foundation like 3 shades too dark for me. And you're gonna see that again today. I did apply a little self-tanner last night. I washed it off and it's not quite as dark as it probably still needs to be. As you can see, my arm, or maybe, I don't know, it's definitely darker than my face, but I think this foundation is still way darker than even what my body looks like right now. That explains the bronze goddessy look. So even if that's all you wanted to know, I hope you will still stay for the rest of the tutorial. I'm going to do it as a voiceover because that always goes a lot quicker, but I will still, be putting in some tips and techniques here and there. Let's get into that tutorial for my most highly requested makeup look ever. I'm starting off by prepping my lids with a little eyeshadow primer. This one is from Gerard Cosmetics. I just take that all the way from my lash line up to my brow bone. And then I just set that with a little translucent powder. This one is from Too Faced. For this look, I used both of the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palettes, starting with the Neutral palette. I'm taking a mid-tone brown shade and running that through my crease, back and forth in a windshield wiper motion. I have hooded eyes, so I look directly into the mirror with my eyes open while I blend out the shadow. And then I do the same thing on the other eye. Then I warmed up and deepened the crease by mixing 2 shades from the original Master Mattes palette, focusing most of the color on the outer portion of my eyelid. Then going back to the Neutrals palette, I'm picking up the soft gray and patting that onto the outer corners of my lids in an inverted V shape. Yes, I am mixing cool and warm tones on my eyes, and I have no qualms about it. And then I just continue to build up the shadow until I achieve my desired depth of color. Next, I'm taking the ivory shade from the palette and putting that all over the mobile lid, up to the crease and out towards the gray. I didn't worry about getting the ivory onto the gray shadow because I knew I was just going to have to go back and touch it up a bit. And then because I wanted to have a bit of a gradient between the gray and the ivory, I did take the lighter gray from the Neutrals palette and tapped that in between the darker gray and the ivory. On that day, I do remember thinking that the ivory didn't pop enough, so I went back and used the ivory from the original Master Mattes to brighten the lid up even more. Then I take a pointed Q-tip with some eye makeup remover on it and angle the shadow up towards my temples. Then what I've been doing lately is not filling in my eyebrows entirely at this point, but I just sort of groom them to get the overall shape. So I just sort of fill in underneath the brow a little bit to achieve the arch, but I don't fill in the remainder of my brow until after I've applied foundation. Because even when I try to be careful, I inevitably end up wiping off my brows when buffing on my foundation. And I do know for sure that this is the brow pencil I used that day, and it is from Charlotte Tilbury. And then, as always, I carve out my brows with a little bit of concealer. Moving on to liquid eyeliner, I'm using a very, very fine pointed liner from CoverGirl, and I'm getting as close to the base of the lashes as possible. It does not matter if this is messy because you're going to be going over it with a powder shadow. And you can use the black eyeshadow from either one of the 2 palettes. The one in the original Master Mattes is a little bit blacker, I feel, than the one in the Neutrals palette. After that's done, I decided I wanted to blend the shadow up a little bit higher towards the brow so that there's more of a gradient. So I took a lighter shade from the Neutrals palette and I just sort of blended up again towards the brow using very light pressure. Then I curled my eyelashes and tight lined with this fine point eye pencil from the brand Can Make. Then I applied mascara. The one I'm using is from Chantecaille. It is truly a fantastic mascara, but I do have a hard time recommending it because it is so ridiculously expensive. It was sent to me. Honestly, that is the only reason why I have it. All right, now it's time for the tan transformation. I started by applying a little primer. This one is from the brand Number 7. And here we go. I've got to move my hair all the way back because I will inevitably be getting foundation on my hairline. And then I pump the product onto the back of my hand. As you can see, it is insanely dark for me. I am buffing it in with my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Brush Number 7. And I do really love the finish of this foundation. I think it is a very natural matte. It does a great job of not settling into my large pores. It just makes my skin look really airbrushed, but not heavy or fake looking. I really do feel like it gives a filter-like effect. When you are using a foundation that is darker than your natural skin tone, you do have to be sure that you not only bring it down onto your neck, but you also cover your ears. You don't want your face to look tanned, but your ears to look pale. I find this foundation buffs out very, very easily, and I have worn it a couple days in a row now, and it does hold up beautifully on my skin. Although I do have to say it's not that different, in my opinion, from the original formulation. That day was also the first time I tried this new concealer from RMS. It is also a fantastic formula, but this particular shade is also a little bit dark for me, but I thought it would be perfect for this look or whenever I am using a darker foundation. I will definitely be purchasing a lighter shade for when I've not decided to go 3 shades darker with my foundation. I find it to be really hydrating. It offers really good natural looking coverage. It's just a beautiful concealer in my opinion. For contour, I needed to go with one of the darkest contours I own. This one is from Tarte. It's called Sculpt Tape. And I'm blending it out with the same brush I used to blend out the foundation so that it looks more seamless. When it comes to contour and blush, I do like to layer liquids and powders. So I did begin with a touch of this Blush. Yes, it's BLURSH from Made by Mitchell. And I just placed a few dots onto the highest point of my cheekbones and then patted it in with a brush. And now I'm using my Too Faced pressed powder to set my concealer and my T-zone. And then I really didn't have a dark enough bronzer to use, so I decided to go with this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish powder I had found in my stash in the shade Deepest Dark. And then this was the blush I showed in the original Amazon video. It's from Palladio. It's their baked blush in the shade Blushing. This is what really gave that pinky glow to the cheeks. Look how pretty this is. I'm just so crazy about it. It reminds me so much of those Rare Beauty highlighting blushes that are more than double the price. Then on the lower lash line, I used a pencil brush and a little bit of brown shadow. Then I took the ivory shade once again and placed it into my tear ducts, and then I also brought it up a little bit onto the lid. As you can see here, a little bit in the tear ducts and then a little bit onto those inner corners. Then I used this ivory pencil from Chantecaille. Now this I feel is totally worth the money. It is the best ivory eye pencil on the market. And now I'm just adding a touch of mascara to my lower lashes. And then this is when I go back and fill in the rest of my brows. Filled them in with that Charlotte Tilbury pencil, and then I set them with a brow wax from Baybrow. Now for the lip combo. I could not remember exactly what I used aside from knowing that I used the shade Honey Love MAC lipstick. I'm just not sure what else I used. I'm pretty sure it was this new lip glazer from MAC in the shade Whirlin because I had just gotten it and I was pretty obsessed with it. I still am. I think it's great. And I do believe this was the pencil that I used with the Honey Love lipstick. And then for the gloss, I just cannot remember for the life of me what I used. I thought it was the Armani Prisma Glass Gloss in Nude Glow. But you'll see in a few moments that I changed my mind about that, and I started to think that I didn't use a gloss on top at all. So here's the completed look before I changed the lip. Thankfully, I still had the footage on my computer from that Amazon video, and I compared the two side by side, and it appears in that footage, the Amazon video, that my lips are a little bit lighter and more peachy. So I'm thinking that maybe I didn't put a gloss over Honey Love. I remember specifically that I used Honey Love lipstick. But for some reason, even now, just using Honey Love and the liner, it doesn't look quite the same. So I'm really, really sorry that I can't remember exactly what I used. Also, please keep in mind that I do try to film my videos at the same time of day every time, but it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes my hair takes a little longer, or sometimes there's a neighbor that's getting their carpets clean, or there's a leaf blower being used outside, something that makes it so I cannot film at the exact same time of day every time. And I do have a window in this room, and sometimes the lighting situation can change colors as well. I got it as close as I possibly could. I hope you all enjoyed this video, found it helpful. My hair also did not turn out quite as good as it did last week, unfortunately. I tried my best in both situations, hair and makeup. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Of course, I will have all of the products listed and linked with the shade name in the description box, and also tagged through YouTube Shopping if I can. I know I say this in a lot of my videos, but I know not everybody watches all of my videos. As of now, YouTube Shopping does not partner with Amazon, so I cannot link YouTube Shopping directly to Amazon. So if you'd like to support me by using those links, you will have to go into the description box, click show more if you're on your mobile. It should bring down the description box after it shows the YouTube Shopping links, and access the product from there. YouTube Shopping also does not currently allow us to always, in some cases we can, but in a lot of cases we cannot link to the exact shade. We can link to the product, but for some reason, not all the shades are available. So if you do click on that YouTube Shopping link, you may have to go to the drop-down menu to find the particular shade that you're looking for. YouTube is well aware of these issues. I talk to my YouTube rep at least once a month and tell her where I think things can be improved, and hopefully someday they listen. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will consider doing so. I do upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find more beauty, fashion, and lifestyle content from me over on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. My username is the same on every platform. It's Risa Does Makeup. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.